Came back to West Virginia in 1965. My mother was weaving and she would put me to work on a loom. Sometimes she had the weaving school. One of the girls knew my mother and she wanted to take lessons, so working 4 days a week. So we would come up on Fridays and Saturdays and we would take weaving lessons from my mother here in the barn, and we would weave. And we spent the winters doing that. In 1999, I retired and moved back to live with my mother. Then I started weaving, and she and another girl who was helping with them, they had this shop, and she asked me if I would be interested in taking over the management and doing the books, which I started doing. So I kept the books and then for the shop, and then started weaving. My husband said that we needed health insurance coverage. And I found a job with hospice care. Well, that put me on the road for 5 years. So needless to say, I did some weaving on the weekends. We weren't really big at that time. We had about 5 people who made stuff in the shop. It was pretty easy to keep track of everything, and so I could do that and still hold down my regular job. 2008, I turned 65. And so I retired, and then I really took up weaving more full-time after that, and management of the shop. We came up with this idea to expand the shop. So in 2008, I got an architect to draw up a design to expand the shop, give me extra room, and I think that has been the best move I've made. And I have 22 producers now who keep their stuff here. I decided I was just going to take on more people's work and have a sales area in the shop rather than put looms over there. And so subsequently, that's why we have all the looms over here in one room. Yes, there are about 15 looms in this room, if you count them. The oldest is about 8, is pre-Civil War, down to the newest, which is about 8 years old. People come in and they say, wow, I didn't know this was here. Or they'll say, well, we've seen those signs, but we've never stopped. But I had changed the signs, which I think made a difference. I got more rack cards. I'm also listed on several of the travel spots, like Google Maps and Expedia and some of the others, which really help. And then also the Convention and Visitors Bureau has a very active web page, and I'm listed on their web page, so that really helps too. I have one producer, all she does is towels. So she's got a couple unique patterns, and actually she's 85 years old. And she's still making towels. My main producer, Joni, she does rugs in different sizes and different ways. She also makes afghans, which are throws in overshot patterns. They all make a lot of scarves in different patterns and in different fibers. Margot, she knits socks. She's a sock a day lady. She can make a sock in a day. She makes really nice socks. I have another producer who makes aprons. So I have a variety. I have one person, all she does is make mud rugs. Those are the little coasters. And then I have another person, she crochets about everything. And she's been very versatile in her things that she started to crochet. She makes scarves, she makes cows, she makes hats. She hasn't taught a rug yet. I'm waiting for a rug. Sometimes we'll have somebody who comes in and one of the girls will work with them to teach them how to crochet and everything. I do individual students in weaving. I find that, the wintertime is the best time if they can come in the wintertime, because that's when you got more time to pay attention. Usually in the summer with people coming and going, it's a little bit harder, but hopefully it takes usually about maybe a month before students really feel comfortable with stepping out and starting their own projects and things like that. It depends on what you want to do with it. Sometimes, I'll be very honest, sometimes people think, oh, that looks like fun, I think I'll try it. And then in about 2 or 3 weeks I think, I didn't realize it was a lot of work. I mean, maybe it's because we'd make it look easy, but you got to realize that we have had all that experience of learning behind us, so we can make it look easy, but it's not necessarily easy. People learn appreciation for it. I think most people do. I find that the newer millennials, they are interested in things like this, and they're more they like, you know, to learn different things. I noticed that basket making seems to be one of the crafts that there are a lot of the younger people take up. Weaving too. There are they kind of specialize, I think, a little bit more now. They are more into creating more unique items, whereas here are the weavers that I have. We're kind of, I call ourselves traditional weavers. We kind of use traditional techniques, and we make more traditional things than kind of the one of a kind unique things. I had a little girl come this summer. She wanted to make mug rugs, so she made a lot of mug rugs. Then I told her, I said, I think you'd like to make a scarf. So it was persistence, and her grandmother helped her a lot. But she did get a scarf made, and I think hopefully I've planted a seed. Now maybe in 5 years, 10 years or something like that, maybe she'll decide she may want to take up weaving or something like that. A lot of times I didn't really care for weaving when I was growing up. I was made to do it. But when I got into my 30s and late 30s, I discovered weaving again. And actually, to get back into it, I was living in Elkins, so I took a weaving class at Augusta and started getting back into it that way. And then I was fortunate enough to come and work with my mother a lot on the weekends, which I did during the time that she was still able to teach and do things.